There's a pasuk that says that lucky is the person that's always afraid, which means doesn't mean a person has to be nervous the whole day, but it means that a person should think about his actions seriously and take into consideration any consequence that could come from it. But someone that makes his heart hard and doesn't want to consider what would happen from his actions, he'll fall through in the negative thing. So he says that we see that the Churban Gemara happened from things that look like plain kind of small things, but because people didn't think what it would lead to, so unfortunately it led to it. So the council, Bar Council, part of Yerushalayim. The city of Yerushalayim was destroyed because of the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. As Barnabezov was trying to build a part of Tur Malka. The area of Tur Malka, which the Gemara will later speak about, was destroyed because of the story of the Tarnagel, and the Tarnagel is the rooster and the hen. Ashaka, the Rispa, the city of Beitar was destroyed because of a wall of a woman's carriage. So these things seem to be very small incidents, but because people didn't take it into consideration what their actions would lead to, unfortunately it led to terrible tragedies. And the Gemara is going to elaborate on each one individually. The Gemara starts off with the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Now Kamsa and Bar Kamsa are part of Yerushalayim. The story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa that led to the Churban of Yerushalayim. Tahu Gavra the Racham and Kamsa Balavoki Bar Kamsa. It was an individual that had a friend by the name of Kamsa and an enemy by the name of Bar Kamsa. Today I saw there's a pshat that Bar Kamsa means the son of Kamsa. The father was his friend and his son was his enemy. This makes it a bit more understood. Yeloshim Kamsa Bar Kamsa. Avad Sudasa, and he made a meal. He told his servant, go bring me, invite Kamsa to come. He went and by mistake he invited Bar Kamsa. So Bar Kamsa came to the party, so this person sees that Bar Kamsa sitting there. He tells the Mechti, let us see who Gavru. He speaks in third person, he says, this person is the enemy of this person. In other words, you are my enemy. My voice, Haka, what are you doing over here? Kum, get up and leave. So he told the host, he said, since I'm already here, so let me stay and I'll pay you for the food that I eat. Going on to page 2. He said, no, I'm not going to let you stay. He to the side. He offered to pay for half of the whole party, he didn't agree. He to the side. He said, if you let me stay, I'll pay for the whole party. He still didn't agree. He took him by his hand, he lifted him up, he stood him up, and he took him out. So Bar Kamsa said, he said there were Chachamim that were sitting at the party since they sat there and they didn't protest, they didn't stop. They said, it shows that the Chachamim are fine with what happened. So therefore, I'm not only going to look to take revenge on the host, I'm going to look to take revenge on everyone. He said, I will go and I will eat a Eichel Bei Kurtz's expression of informing the government, trying to make a libel on the Jewish people to the king. He went to the Caesar, whether it was the Emperor in Rome or the Rome had different representatives in different parts of the world, the one that was in charge of Israel. He went and he told him, the Jewish people rebelled against you. He says, who says, how could I know? He says, bring a carbon, and you'll see if they will bring it on the Mizbeach. The halacha is that a guy is allowed to send the carbon to be brought on the Mizbeach. So he said, you'll see that the Yidden are not going to bring the carbon, which technically they should, and he was going to use that out to prove that it's because Yidden rebelled against them, against Rome. So he went and he sent his man to the Beis HaMikdash a fat calf, a chosen calf. As he was going, he caused the animal to have a blemish. Some people say it was in the lips. Some people say it was b'doikin shabayim. The doik is like a cataract, something over the eye. Somehow he knew how to treat the animal in a way that the animal will develop a cataract. What was the point of him making down with this type of blemish? But the Gemara explains, Duchta Deludidon have a mumma Ludidu lav mumma. Api halacha, a goy is allowed to bring a carbon if he wants. He could make a bomba, he could build a mizbeach anywhere that he wants and bring a carbon. The carbon that he's allowed to, that he's able to bring on any street, on any mizbeach that he makes, the dinim of what is considered the mum are more lenient than the dinim of what is considered the mum in the Beis HaMikdash. So if a guy would want to bring a carbon to the Eibishter that has a cut on the lip or it has a cataract in the eye, if he would bring it on a stam of his bayach that he built, it wouldn't be a problem. But if he brings it in the Beis HaMikdash, it's a problem. Now the emperor knows that if he brings this carbon to the Eibishter, wherever it is, he's allowed to bring it, even though it has these types of mummer. He's not going to understand that in the Beis HaMikdash it's different. He's going to take it that even they're just playing around with him because they don't want to bring his carbon. So when he came to Yerushalayim and he brought this calf from the emperor, the Chachamim wanted to bring it because to keep good relations with the government. They were afraid of what's going to happen. So Rav Chaim ben Avkulas was there. And he was afraid to do that. He said, if you're going to do that, people will think you're allowed to bring an animal that has a mum on the mizbeach. So they decided, they were thinking maybe we should kill Bar Kamsa. So Bar Kamsa shouldn't go back to the government and inform them that he didn't want to bring the carbon. Rav Chaim said that people are going to see what happened. They're not going to understand what really happened. They're going to think that the reason why he was killed is because he put a mum in the carbon. So Rabbi Sholom Zirkind basically was afraid to do anything, and because he was afraid to do anything, so Bar Kamsa reported back to the emperor that the Yidden rebelled against him, and they came to destroy the Beis HaMikdash. Amar Rabbi Yochanan in the Sanusa of Rabbi Sholom Zirkind Rabbi Yochanan said that anivus, now usually anivus we translate as humility, but here Rashi explains anivus means avlanus, tolerance. Rabbi Sholom should have been a bit more strong. He shouldn't have tolerated Bar Kamsa, and he should have killed him. He shouldn't have been afraid of what people are going to think, what people are going to say. There's a danger that come out of it. He should have taken care of it. But because he tolerated Bar Kamsa, he didn't want to do anything about it. So the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, the Heichel was burnt, and we went into Golus from Eretz Yisrael. So the Gemara continued and says, Shodr Levayi Nirin Keser. From Rome they sent Nirin Keser to, one explanation is this is the name of the general that went to Yerushalayim, the first general that went to capture Yerushalayim. Kika'asi Shodr Gila Lemizrach Asanach Yerushalayim. So he went, he wanted to make a sign for himself to see if he's going to be victorious over Yerushalayim. So he decided to make some type of, simon that he thought would be a simon. He shot an arrow to east, and the arrow fell on Yerushalayim. When it was close to Yerushalayim, the arrow, some people say it means it fell in the direction of Yerushalayim, other people thought that it fell to Yerushalayim itself. L'maydav osnach of Yerushalayim. He shot the arrow into Maydav, to the opposite direction, and again the arrow went to Yerushalayim. L'arbanuchas hashamayim osnach of Yerushalayim. He shot the arrow to all four directions, again it fell in Yerushalayim, or in the direction of Yerushalayim. So he understood that the Eibishter wants to destroy the Beis HaMikdash, will be successful, he'll be victorious over Yerushalayim. He wanted to know what's going to happen to him. He wasn't sure if he should do it, so he met a Yiddish king. He saw a Jewish boy. He told him, what's the pasuk that you learned today? He told him a pasuk that the Cheskel and Navi prophesies that the Eibusher will take the Kama from Edom, from Rome, which is the nation that destroyed the Beis HaMikdash, in the hands of the Yidden. So he realized that the Eibusher is not going to reward him for destroying the Beis HaMikdash, for capturing Yerushalayim. The Eibusher is going to let him do it, but at the end, the Eibusher is going to punish him. Amar, so in Keser said, Kutsha Brichu Boila Charubi Beisei, Boila Chapuri Yotim Bahukabri. He said the Eibusher wants to destroy his house, but together with that, he's going to, the expression goes, he's going to wipe his hands clean on this person. He's using me as a scapegoat, basically. I'll be the one to conquer Yerushalayim, and I'll get punished for it. The Eibusher is, I'm not going to walk away from this grief. So what did he do? He ran away and he became a ger. He became a ger tzedek. The Nofek made Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir, the famous Tana Rabbi Meir, was a descendant. Some people actually seem to say he was the son of Nirin Kesef. Shadveil of Tzmida Kneged Mida. He left the Beis HaMikdash in place, so he had a son Rabbi Meir. Shadveil of Vayelas Bastionus Kesef. So then Nirin Kesef ran away, so from Rome they sent Aspasionis Kesef. Also Tzadalot Lashmis. The mother said that Aspasionis made a siege on Yerushalayim for 3 years. And the mother explains what happened during the siege. There were 3 rich people in Yerushalayim. It was Nakdim ben Gurion, ben Kalbus Sabuv, and Tzitzis HaKesses. These 3 people, Nakdim ben Gurion, the mother will explain the names, the meaning of the names of these 3 people. Nakdim ben Gurion, Shanaktu Leichama Ba'Burei. Nakdim ben Gurion, his first name was, the mother says, wasn't Nakdim, his first name was Bunyan. Why was he called Nakdim? There's a famous story that there was once that Gittin went up to Yerushalayim to the Beis HaMikdash. There was no water for them to drink. So there was a Goyish nobleman that had 12 springs of water. So Nakdim ben Gurion told him, let me have the 12 springs of water, and if it doesn't rain by a certain day to replenish your springs, I'll pay you money for it. So, find the guy, the guy gave it to him. It came the day when he had to pay up, and it was a drop and it just didn't rain. So the guy sends him a message. He says, I want my money. He says, it's still rain today. It came afternoon, it came towards later on in the afternoon. And when Nakdim ben Gurion saw it's getting late, he went to the Beis HaMikdash and he davened. And he said, I didn't do this for my own honor. I did it that there should be, you should go to the Beis HaMikdash and have what to drink. So it says right away, the skies became cloudy and it started raining. And not only did it replenish the 12 springs of the Goy, but he had even more water than he had before. So Nakdim ben Gurion was walking out of the Harabayas and they bumped into each other. Nakdim ben Gurion tells him, he was waiting till Nakdim ben Gurion, you owe me money. Nakdim ben Gurion says, you owe me money, because now you have extra water. So he says, hold on a second. He says it's true, but he says, the sun already set. It's already after this man that we made up, so you have to still pay me. It rained afterwards. Nakdim ben Gurion went back in and he davened. And they made another mace that the sun came out. So the word Nakdim comes from the word, Rashi says, that it pierced. The sunlight pierced through the clouds and came out to prove that the sun didn't set yet. So from then on, they called him Nakdim ben Gurion. The second year was when Kalbus Savoy was also Rabbi Akiva's father-in-law. Why was he called? It was also a name that he was given. Kalba means a dog. The dog is usually goes around the most hungry. Savoy means satisfied. So whoever was hungry like a dog, when he came into his house, would walk out completely satisfied. When Tzitzis HaKesses, the third year was called when Tzitzis HaKesses, why was he called Ben Tzitzis HaKesses? He was so rich and influential, whenever he would walk, the tzitzis of his garments, in those days they wore tzitzis at the bottom of their robe, so whenever he would walk, they used to spread milas. Milas could either be silk or wool. They spread kosher carpets under him, so whenever he walked, the tzitzis of his garments were always schlepping on top of chashuv carpets, whatever it might be. So he was a very rich and influential person. Another student explains that he had this name for a different reason. It says, the other people say that his name was Ben Sitis. Why was he called Akesas? Akesas comes from the word Kisei, is cheer. That when he used to go to Rome to greet the emperor, so he used to sit amongst the noblemen of Rome. So he was not only he was rich, but he was very prominent. He had very big connections. So the Gemara says, one of the rich people said that he will support Yerushalayim with wheat and barley. One said he'll support Yerushalayim with wine, salt, and oil. One said he'll support Yerushalayim with wood. The Chachamim out of these three Gittin, the Chachamim praised the most the Gittin that was ready to supply Yerushalayim with wood. Why? Because the Gemara says that Rabbi Tisha, all the keys, the storage houses, he would trust his attendants, his shamish. But the key that went to the oitzer, the storage house where he kept wood, that he always kept by himself. That he was much more careful with. Why? Rabbi Tisha said for one measurement of wheat, you need 60 measurements of wood. The wood burns much, you need much more wood than you need to wheat to make flour. So Rabbi Tisha was much more careful with the wood, that he kept his eye on much more. So the Gvir that was ready to support the Yerushalayim with wood, the Chachamim praised much more. Says the Gemara, they had enough food to support a siege that would have lasted for 21 years. What happened? What you had in Yerushalayim, you had people, Rashi says, they are empty people, that they're eager for war. They wanted to fight the Romans. So the Chachamim said, the Chachamim knew that it wasn't Shayef that to win the Romans. The Chachamim said, they told these Briyonim that took control of Yerushalayim, let us go out, let us make peace with the Romans. So they didn't, these Briyonim didn't let them go out. The Briyonim said to the Chachamim, let us go and fight the Romans. The Chachamim said, it's not going to work. It won't be successful. So they decided they wanted to force the people of Yerushalayim to go to fight. So what did they do? They burned down the storage houses. So there should be a famine, there should be hunger. So people are going to feel that they have to fight the Romans. If not, they won't be able to survive. So the Gemara says, the Gemara is going to give a story to describe how bad the famine, the hunger got. The Gemara says, Martha Baspaitis Asirasa Yerushalayim Havi. Martha Baspaitis was a rich woman of Yerushalayim. When the hunger came about, she sent her messenger to the marketplace. She told him, go get me fine flour. At the time he came, it was already gone. He went back to her and he said, there's no fine flour, all there is clean bread, white bread. So she told him, go get this. When he came, it was also gone. He said, there's no white bread, there's coarse bread. She told him, go bring it. When he went, that was also gone. When he went, came back, he said, there's no more coarse bread. All there is barley flour. She said to him, go bring it to me. When he came back, that was also gone. She wasn't wearing shoes at the time. Some people explain she was rich and in her home she never wore shoes. So she said, let me go out myself. She realized she's going to send her servant back and forth every time she wants something. It's already gone. She said, let me go out myself to see if I can find something. What happened? So the Gemara said, she was walking, she stepped into the tzay of a behemoth. And because she was so rich and such an istimid, so finicky, she never, she was so pampered that for her to touch that her foot, she wasn't wearing shoes, that her foot should touch the Sayyid of the Behema made her so disgusted, she became sick, she died. Said about her, Rabbi Sholom Zirkind lived at that time, said about her the Pasuk, it says in the Tisha that even the woman that's Raka, she's soft and Anuga, she's always, in other words, she's rich and she never put her foot on the ground. So even she will be, when it comes the Churban, when the hunger started, even she was affected. Another version is that after she passed away, she ate figs that Absadik ate from, and she became disgusted from it, and she died. What are the figs of Absadik? Absadik Yosef Arbin Shirin Tanis Leilechner Yerushalayim. Absadik, 40 years before the Churban, there were different signs that they already saw. Said that the doors of the Beis Hamikdash would open up, different things that they already saw that the Beis Hamikdash would be destroyed. So that Tzaddik fasted for 40 years, down to the Eibush of the Beis Hamikdash shouldn't be destroyed. So because of his fasts, he became so, his body became so famished, so, just skin and bones, like whenever he ate something, we were able to see from the outside of his body the food going down. You were able to see in his throat the food going down because he was so skinny from his fasts. The Chavagori Maisle, when he used to try to eat something after his fasts, so he wasn't able to eat any real food, so he used to take figs, he used to suck out the juice and throw them away. So what happened was, she found these figs and she ate them, and when she ate them, Rashi says the smell of the sickness of Rabbi Sholom, whatever exactly that means, I'm not sure. But she tasted in the fig, she tasted Rabbi Sholom's condition, and it made her so, she was so sensitive that it made her sick and she died. When she was passing away, she took out all her gold and silver and she threw it in the marketplace. She said, what do I need this for? This is the pasuk that says that they're going to throw out their money in the streets. The pasuk is describing that they're going to be hungry and they're not going to have anything to do with their money. They're going to throw it out in the streets and it's not going to be able to help them. The Gemara continues going back to the situation in Yerushalayim. Our secret Our secret was in charge of the gangsters of Yerushalayim, and he was the nephew, he was the son of Rabbi Nechman ben Zakkai's sister. Nechman ben Zakkai was the Nasi of the Chachamim. He was against fighting the Romans. But Rabbi Sikra was his nephew. So Sholach lei tov v'sina legabroi. So Rabbi Yochanan called him and he said, please come secretly to me. He knew that publicly they weren't allowed to meet, it would be a danger for Rabbi Sikra. So he asked him to come to him secretly. Also, he came to him, Amalei, Adema Sadisu Hachim v'katlisu le'lamu b'chafim. He said, until when are you going to do what you're doing and cause the whole world, everyone to die of hunger? Amalei Ma'i Yavidi Minulahumidi Kadali. He said, what should I do? If I'll tell my men anything, they're going to kill me? We couldn't stop them already. Amalei Chazili Tarkanta V'Didi Ve'epuk. He said, see some type of plan, some way able to get for me to go out of the city, maybe I'll be able to save at least something. As we see later, that there were a few things that Rabbi Nechman ben Zakkai was able to save. He gave him a plan. He told him, he said, act as if you're sick. Give out a rumor that you're sick. And let everyone come and ask how you're doing. Make it sound like mamish, it's the last, you're already on your deathbed, and everyone is coming to ask how you're doing. You see, because it's mamish, they're very sick. And you should put something that smells like a corpse of an animal and put it on your bed. So people should say, people would say that you died and your body is already decomposing and smelling. And then, the only way you're able to get out of Yerushalayim in those days was a mace. You weren't allowed to bury anyone in Yerushalayim. So they would take out the dead to bury them. So the only way that Rabbi Sholom was able to go out is if he would make it as if he already died. So he said, have your Talmidim carry you out, but don't have other people carry you. Why? You shouldn't feel that you're light. So people know that a live person weighs less than a dead person. So your Talmidim, there's no danger if they realize that you're still alive. They're not going to reveal what's going on. If other people carry out the mitzvah, they're going to feel that Rabbi Sholom Zirkind didn't really pass away. He followed through the whole plan. Rabbi Sholom held his bed from one side, Rabbi Sholom held it from the other side. When they came to the opening of Yerushalayim, which was controlled by these B'yonim, the B'yonim wanted to pierce Rabbi Sholom Zirkind with a sword to make sure that he's not dead. So Abba Sikra said to them, it's not nice. The Romans would see what's going on. They're going to say that even their rabbi, Rabbi Sholom Zirkind, was the Nasi, that even him, they're piercing with their sword. So they wanted to at least push him to see maybe he'll scream or something. So Abba Sikra said, the Romans will see and they're going to say, look, they even pushed, they're treating disrespectfully their teacher, their Nasi. Possibly Bob and the door he came out. When he went out from Yerushalayim, he went to Aspasion, he went to the Roman general. When he went to Aspasion, he told him, peace unto you, king. That's how he greeted him. He greeted him as if he's greeting a king. He said, peace unto you, king, peace unto you, king. He told him, Aspasion told him, twice. You're deserving of being killed twice. First of all, I'm not a king and you're calling me a king. So Rashi explains, you're laughing at me, you're being disrespectful to me. Other people explain that you're being weighted with Malchus. I'm not the king, you're only allowed to greet the king himself with this greeting, not me. Then he said also, if I am the king, so why didn't he come to me until now? So he says he's deserving of Chayim Yisra really for two reasons. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Sholom Zirkind answered in the counter to Malkan. He said this time you said you're not a king. Going on to page 3, even a Malkan. He says you're definitely going to be a king. If you love Malkan, then you see Yerushalayim Yidach. If you're not a king, Yerushalayim will not be given over into your hands. The pasuk that says that the Levonim will fall in the Adir, in the hands of a mighty person. And he explains, "Ve'ein Adir ela melech, v'tziv lo yadir imenu v'gomer, ve'ein Levonim lebeis hamikdash, shnei l'hara teva zav Levonim." He said that an Adir, which means a mighty person, but more precisely refers to a king. We have a pasuk that is Adir, will come from him. In that pasuk, it's clear that it's talking about the ruler of the king. And he said Levonim, which Pashas refers to Levonim, Lebanon, but Levonim is the Beis HaMikdash. Shnelman ha'hor ha'teva zav ha'Levonim. We have in this week's Pashas, as Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into Eretz Yisrael, he wanted to see this good mountain and the Levonim, and it's explained that Levonim is a reference to the Beis HaMikdash, because Levonim comes from the word Malvin, Lavan, makes white. And through bringing the Karbonis to the Beis HaMikdash, it made white. In other words, it atoned for the Karbonis for the sins of the Yidden. So he told him that from the fact, as Moses explained, even though he didn't yet capture Yerushalayim, what he says was already at a stage that it was clear that Yerushalayim he would capture it soon. So he said the fact that we're able to, he said if not for the fact that you're going to become a king, David wouldn't make that you should capture Yerushalayim. Because David should only, we know that David should be, he's punishing, he only punishes them through people that are taka powerful. So it shouldn't be a design for the Yidden that it's nobody is overcoming that. So he says, so this that you said you're not a king, he said you're definitely going to become a king. He says with the Ka'amr, the Malka, and the Amayla, Yon Kosis, the Gabboy, he said this. That he said that if I'm a king, why didn't I come to you until now? Until now, the people that were the fighters of Yerushalayim didn't let me go out. So Aspasianus challenged him, Amar Lei, he says to him, Ilu Chavishal Levash, V'darkin Korachallah. He says, what if you have a barrel of honey and there's a snake that's wrapped around it? Wouldn't you, so the snake is obviously wants the honey. So but the snake is a danger, so how do you get rid of the snake? So he said, wouldn't you break the barrel to get rid of the honey so the snake should go away? What was he implying? He was implying that he should have destroyed the walls of Yerushalayim in order that the snake, which is a marshal for the gangsters, should be thrown out from there. Ishtik. So Yechim and Zakir remained silent. Kari alei Rabbi Yosef became Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Yosef, other people say the time Rabbi Akiva said about him. He said about Rabbi Yechim and Zakir, the pasuk Meishin Chachamim Ocher B'daitem Yisachim. The pasuk that said that Hashem makes the Chachamim sometimes go backwards. In other words, that their Chachma, they don't think straight. And makes their das, their knowledge, foolish. In other words, Rabbi Yechim and Zakkai, why was he quiet? He could have answered him. They made it that he shouldn't find the good teretz to answer him. He should have answered as Pasyana Shavkina Shaklina Sapsa, the Shaklina Leila Dorkin, Kaklina Leila. He said, why should we destroy the barrel? There's another way. You could take a tzapsa, like a tweezers, and be able to grab a hold of the snake and to kill the snake. The Chavisa Shavkin alone, we should leave alone the barrel. Zak could have answered him and said that we were waiting to, instead of destroying the city walls, which is only a last resort, we were waiting to find a way to get rid of the B'yayim without destroying the city walls. But he didn't answer him that, and he said that was the Eibush made him that he shouldn't answer that because of the Eibush. You know, Mitzad Eibush wanted that shouldn't be able to answer. As this was going on, a messenger came from Rome for Aspasianus. Amar Lei, he told him, Kum, get up to Misle Caesar, the emperor in Rome died. The Choshev, the people of Rome, the Senate, whoever it was over there, they decided to make you the head, to make you the emperor. So when he heard the news, he was wearing one shoe, was in the middle of putting on his shoes, one shoe was on, one shoe was off. So he wanted to put on the second shoe, didn't go on. Well, the Mishnah Kolidah, so he wanted to take off the first shoe, didn't come off. Amar Ma'ai, he asked Rabbi Yechim exactly what's going on. Amar Lei likes it stay, he said don't worry about it. Nothing, no sickness that you have to be afraid of. Shmuel Taibasilach, he said, you heard good news, you heard that you became the emperor. You receive Shmuel Taiba, the Dasha Natsum, the pasuk that it says that good news makes a person's bones fatter. So you heard such good news that you became the emperor, so Moshe Begashmis, your bones expanded, so the other shoe couldn't fit, and your foot that was already in the shoe expanded, and the shoe got stuck. And so so he said, so what's the answer for this? So he said, he says you have to do something which will reverse the effect of hearing the good news. What should you do? You should have somebody they don't like him, he should walk past you. And when you'll see him and Pasha don't like seeing him, so that sight will cause your bones to shrink, go back to its original size. Like it says, Ruach Necheya, Holy Spirit Tibashkarim, causes Yabashkarim, causes bones to dry up. So he did that, and his other shoe was able to go in. Amar Lei, now as Marcionus really saw how the Rabbi Zakkai was smart. Now he saw that what he said he'll become the king happened true as this was going on. Now he saw that he was the shoe that he knew how to tell him how to get a shoe on. Amar Lei says, so if you're so smart, why didn't you come until now? Some people explain, was trying to say, I see you're even smarter than I thought you were. You weren't able to try to find the eights that had to get out of the city up until now. So he said, so he said, I also told you. So he said, he said, didn't I tell you already? Like the whole mushroom was the barrel and the snake. I'm sorry, not the mushroom. The fact, didn't I already tell you that the Brigonim weren't letting me go out? Some people explain and were saying the Brigonim that we have are also smart. So I'm kind of smart, but I'm not able to out it. They're able to counter all my plans to come out. They're able to. So Amalei, I don't know, says back, I also told you. Like what he told him, the mushroom, the snake, and the barrel, you should destroy the barrel, but you have the snake. Anyway, at the end, he tells him like this. He says, I have to go now to Rome. Now became emperor, he has to go, I'm going to Rome. I'm sending another person to conquer Yerushalayim. And says, ask from me something that I should give you. So he asks for three things. He says, he says, leave Yavna and its Chachamim. Yavna was a city in Yerushalayim where the Chachamim and the Sanhedrin were in Yavna. So he wanted that, as the Rebbe explains, in order to bring Mashiach, you need to have Torah. So he said, leave the Sanhedrin in place, so like this, he's able to fix up the Churban. That was his kavanah. But he said, leave, give me Yavna and its Chachamim. You're not going to destroy them. You're not going to kill them. You should shilta the Rabbi Gamliel, and you should not leave the family of Rabbi Gamliel of the Nasi alive. But Rabbi Gamliel came from Malchus Beis David. The Nasim of Eretz Yisrael, they were descendants of David HaMelech. So he wanted that they shouldn't be wiped out. And he also asked for doctors for Rabbi Tzaddik, which we learned before, fasted for 40 years. The Hamidah should be destroyed. Rabbi Sholom Zirkind asked for doctors. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Akiva, another people, Rabbi Akiva said also on this, David should cause his wise men and their wisdom should go backwards and their dash should become foolish. Why? Because instead of asking for these three things, he should have said that leave them. He should have asked that he should give them another chance. He should let them go this time. He shouldn't come to Yerushalayim. So the Gemara says, so he says that Rabbi Sholom Zirkind, the reason why I didn't ask for this was because he was afraid if you can ask for too much, you're going to get nothing. He says that he shouldn't come to Yerushalayim, that he probably wouldn't agree. So if I'm going to ask for that, he wouldn't do anything. At least let me ask for smaller things that maybe I'll at least be able to accomplish. So the Gemara now explains how the doctors healed Rabbi Tzaddik. Ashbasa the Master Rabbi Tzaddik Ma'i, how did the doctors heal Rabbi Tzaddik? The first day they gave him to drink water in which they soaked the shells of the bran of wheat, the shells of wheat. The next day they gave him to drink water in which they soaked shells that had a little bit of flour on them. The next day water that had a little bit of flour in it. So they slowly got his stomach used to wheat bread. At first it was just the smell until he was finally able to actually eat bread itself. Until the stomach got wider slowly. It was shrunk after spasm for 40 years. It shrunk tremendously, so through the saints it slowly got back to normal. Now that the mother goes and explains, he goes to the actual Churban of the Beis HaMikdash. Vespasianus went back to Rome, he sent Titus Russia to go destroy the base, to go conquer Yerushalayim. The Gemara quotes a pasuk in Ha'azinu. The Gemara, there's different pshatim in the pasuk. The Gemara explains one of the Pirushim of the pasuk is that the Goyim are going to say about the Eibishter. Where is the Eibishter in whom the Yidden Sur Chasoyibay? Sur Chasoyibay literally means the rock in which they protected themselves in. So this pasuk was said by Titus, that Titus Arasha. This pasuk is a reference to Titus Arasha, Shechidif Yikidif Klapi Maila. And he spoke very disrespectfully to the Eibishter. He said, where is the Eibishter? Where is the Eibishter of the Jewish people? And he was a big chutzpaniak. Also, what did he do? In order, also Tapa Zayna Biyada Bichnas of his Kochi HaKadoshim. The Tzia Sei Potato Vodalabe, he took his Zayna in his hand, he went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, he spread out a Sei Potato and he singed on it. The Notal Sayof, he did us a Poroiches. He took a sword and he pierced the Poroiches. The Poroiches that separated between the Kodesh and Kodesh HaKadoshim. The Nasa Neis for Yadam Vatzvitz V'yotzei. A miracle happened and blood sprinkled out from the Poroiches. So Titus thought that he literally means he killed himself, but it's a Loshen Aki, I mean that he killed Eibishter. So what happened over here? So one way of learning is that it's part of the miracle, Eibishter caused blood to come out of the Poroiches, which Eibishter was showing, he thought that meant in his foolish mind what he thought. But Eibishter was trying to show that how much it bothers the Eibishter, the fact that the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed, so he caused blood to come out as a sign of how much it's hard, how much it's painful to him. But there's another pshat here that there's a certain karbonas, in Kippur and other times, when the Kohen used to spray blood towards the Poroiches. Sometimes the blood actually hit the Poroiches, but the blood congealed, was already dried up. The Eibishter made a mace that the blood became dry again, so it spritzed out of the Poroiches. The pasuk says that those that oppress you, scream out. The kerev mayadecha was in the moyed, within the house of your meeting, the house that you meet, that you dwell in. They place their signs as signs. In other words, what they interpreted to be a sign that Titus thought that he did to the Eibishter, so he made that his sign as a sign. He said, whose blood is it? It must be, one above. Abba Chanan, he commented on this story and he said, the pasuk says, who is like you, Chasim Ka, such a strong Eibishter. So he said, he said, who is like you, that you're so mighty? What is the might of the Eibishter that he was able to hear Titus in the Kodesh HaKadoshim speaking, cursing out the Eibishter, and he remained quiet, he didn't do anything to him. Yet, later on we'll see what happened. Rabbi Sholom Zirkind, darshan a similar pasuk, he's saying as Yosh Mikamecha Makelim Hashem, which literally means who is like you in the mighty ones Hashem. But the Kedash in the pasuk that it's for Ilay meaning. Ilay means someone that can't talk. At the Eibishter, who is like you, those that are mute, those that don't know, the Eibishter didn't respond to Titus, let him say whatever he wanted to say. Also, what did Titus do? He took the Poroiches and he made it like a garbasoni. Garbasoni is like a basket that's used as a strainer. And then when they make wine, so one of the kalim of winemaking is like something that's like a basket, but it has holes on the side that is used like a strainer, a sifter. It's called a garbasoni. So he took the Poroiches, but the point is like a big vessel, a big vat. He took the Poroiches and he made it into such a keli. Some Gersais say it's paroichos, it's two paroichos, because the Beis HaMikdash was, the second Beis HaMikdash was two paroichos. It was, by the Kodesh HaKadoshim, was two paroichos and Ham apart. He took both paroichos and made it into, the reason why he took the paroichos, we'll soon see, when he wanted to go back to Rome and show everyone the blood that was on the paroichos, the Kayachal proved that it was victorious, God be Davidshter. So he took the paroichos and he made it like his big, the basket, the heiti kol kelim shabimitosh, v'nicham, and he put all the vessels, the Beis HaMikdash in the paroichos. V'yeshiva misfina leilech l'shtabech b'ira. He put it in the boat and he went back to Rome through the Mediterranean Sea. He went back to Rome in order to praise himself, to glorify himself in the city in Rome. Shneimar v'chein re'isi v'shoyin k'vurin v'avov. U'mimokim kodesh alecho v'ishtakhu v'ira shekei nosov. The passage that says that I saw the shoyin k'vurin. K'vurin means buried in the shoyin, or the shoyin which are deserving of being buried. And they're coming from a holy, they're going from a holy place. V'ishtakhu, the passage literally, the passage says v'ishtakhu, which means they'll be forgotten. They'll be forgotten in the city that this is what they did. But the Gemara darshans al tini kvurim ele kivutzim. That the word kivurim, buried, you could read that it means kivutzim, gathered, which means that Titus is a passage which is referring to Titus, that he gathered the Kelim and Beis HaMikdash together. Some of us should explain the word kivurim in Aramaic means things that are gathered together. Al tikni by yishtakhu el yishtabachu. So don't read the word yishtakhu, which means they'll be forgotten, which is also true, because eventually Titus was forgotten. He was punished. But you should read it yishtabachu, that they're going to praise themselves, to boast about what they did. So in other words, this passage is a reference to Titus, and it was coming from the Beis HaMikdash, trying to boast. Ikadam yikuburim mamish ta'afilu milah d'michamra midlayim. Other people darshan the pasuk kivurim very kipshutai. What's the meaning? That Titus found even those treasures which were hidden away, that that they buried them, even that, Shemayim they made, that they should become revealed and Titus got them. So the Lord Malchim should be on the Tigris. As he was traveling in the Mediterranean Sea, a storm broke out and was threatening to drown his ship. And Titus realized that the Eibishter was punishing him. Omar, so again here you see his chutzpah. Omar, he said, so it seems to me that the Eibishter of the Jewish people, his strength is only in water. Well, Paro came and enslaved the Jewish people. How did the Eibishter finally punish them? By drowning them in the Yamsuf in water. Sisra was the king, was the general of Yovim Melech Canaan. It's all story in Shaftim, nice with the Veda and water. And they're also, how were they destroyed? It says that the Nachal Kishon, the Kishon River, schlepped the soldiers in and drowned them. So he said, Sisra came, they should drown them in water. So he's also coming to drown me in water. In Gittin, he says, if the English is so strong, let him come up on dry land and fight with me on dry land. The English is only able to fight me in water. He was trying to be chutzpah. Says in the water he has kayak, but on dry land he doesn't. So Yotzo Baskel Vopter Lo Yerosha Ben Rosha Ben Ben Shaleitzav Rosha. So Baskel came out and told him, Rosha, the son of Rosha, the descendant of Esav Rosha, I have a very light creature in my world which is called the Yitush. Yitush is a mosquito or similar type of creatures. Why is it called a light creature? Because it says that it's brought down that these mosquitoes and similar creatures, they're able to eat, but they don't go to the bathroom, nothing comes out of them. So it's called the Briyakal, a very light creature. Alayli Abosha, most small, the cheapest creature. Said, go up to dry land, and he was trying, Titus was a chus b'nyach, he said, fight with me on dry land. The Mishnah said, I'm going to send my smallest representative on dry land to fight with you, and see if you're able to fight with him. He went up to dry land, so a mosquito came, he went into his nostrils, and he went up to his brain, and he started pecking at his brain for 7 years. You can imagine that it wasn't very fun, too much fun for him. One day he was passing by the door of a smithery. Shoma collars after the mosquito heard the sound of the corners of the hammer, whatever it's called, that the smith was banging. So when he heard the noise, he got frightened. So Ishtik, it stopped pecking at his brain. So Omar, he says, oh, I have no an eitzah how to get rid of this pain of the mosquito pecking at my brain. So every day he brought a smith, and the smith would hack away, bang away in front of him. If it was a guy, he would pay him 4 zuz. If it was a yid, the smith that was a yid, he told him, if you was good enough, your reward is that you see your enemy suffering. So the mother says, says, for 30 days they ate some work. Afterwards, the mosquito got used to it already, so he just continued pecking at his brain. The Gemara says, Rabbi Pinchas ben Aruba says, I was amongst the great people of Rome. When he died, they broke open his brain. And once a boy could tzipor d'roi, mishkal shnei slime, they found a bird called a tzipor d'roi. Some people, it's translated to a house sparrow, whatever type of bird is, I'm not sure, which weighed about 1 1/3 ounces, 2 slime. Maslisatan in the Brisa room, he goes ben shana, like a young bird, a year old. Some people say, well, like a dog, a year old. Mishkal shnei litter, which weighed shnei litter, 2 pounds. Amar Abaye said, Naktina, we have a tradition, Pipshon the Choishes, the Tziparnav Shal Bardal, its mouth was like copper. Obviously, it doesn't mean, when they could have, the Farshim explained, it means that he had such a power to take out his brain, as if his mouth was out of copper and his nails were like metal. He had a Mayis, Titus died, so he wanted to come with an eitzah that he thought that the Eibusher shouldn't be able to judge him, punish him after he passes away, after he dies. So he says that burn my body and spread my ashes on all 7 seas. Well, the Eibusher shouldn't be able to find me. These ashes are spread all across the oceans of the world. The Eibusher won't be able to find them and judge them. So the mother says, what the Peel Mamish was his punishment. The mother says, Unclus bar Kleinikus bar Achse the Titusate. Unclus, the son of Kleinikus, was a nephew of Titus. He was the son of Titus' sister. There's a discussion if this is the same Unclus Hager that wrote the Targum Unclus. I think it's different opinions on the matter. Have a boiling Giyure. So Unclus, before he became a ger, he wanted to become a ger. He wanted to know what's the right thing to do. So he used a type of witchcraft brought on in the Torah called oil, through which you're able to bring up the spirits of the dead and communicate with them. So he brought up the spirit of Titus. So he brought up the spirit of Titus. He asked him, who is chashuv in that world, in the world to come, upstairs, who's chashuv? Yisrael, said the Gittin. So he said, should I join them? So he says, it's too many mitzvahs. You're not going to be able to keep it. That's where you go, he looks at it. You realize he's not chashuv, but it's, Yiddish guys is too much for you. He says, if you want to become someone chashuv in this world, you should go and oppress the Yidden. We have a passage in Necha that says that those that oppressed Yidden became a Roish head, and it's explained that Kol HaMeitzah the Yisrael Nasa Roish, that whoever oppresses the Yidden becomes a head, becomes important. One of the Biyurim is that she doesn't want that the Yidden should be punished by someone that's not chashuv. It's bizoyim for the Yidden, so maybe she makes him chashuv. They said if you want to become important, instead of joining Yidden, you should oppress them. He asked him, what is your punishment upstairs? He says, page 4, he says exactly, I passed in my own judgment. And this is exactly that I passed in on myself. Every day they gather my ashes from all seven oceans, and they judge me, they burn me, they again scattered the ashes on the 7 seas. So he came up with this chachma to try to avoid punishment. This exactly became his punishment. Then Unkelus went and he brought up the spirit of Bilam through Kishuv. He asked him who's chashiv in that world. So he told him the Yidden, he said, should I join them? So he quotes them a pasuk and says, you should not seek out their peace and their welfare all your days. In other words, even though he's being punished, but his sin to him still remains. Don't seek out anything good for them. He asked him, what is your punishment? He said that in burning Shikha Zera. Why was he punished with this? Because he caused Yidden to be Mazana and the daughters of Moav. So that's what he's being punished with. He brought up through Kishuv, through Oiv, he brought up the spirit of what's called here Paisha Yisrael, the sinners of Gittin, but in other Gesois, in earlier Gesois it says it was Yoshka. He said, who's chashuv in that world? So I told him when he was upstairs, so he answered him again, he said, what about joining them? She said they should seek out their good, you should not seek out their bad. The pasuk that says that whoever touches the Yidden, as if he's touching the pupil of his eye. Either means he's touching the Eibishter's pupil of the Eibishter's eye, that Yidden are so dear to the Eibishter, like the pupil of the Eibishter's eye, so if you touch them, you're touching the pupil of the Eibishter's eye, or it means that it's like you're touching the pupils of your own eye. When someone plays around the pupil of his own eye, he ends up hurting his eye. So if you touch them, you can end up hurting yourself. He asked him, what is your punishment? He said that he's in burning tzayah. What's the shaykhis? And what explains, it says that the sin of Yoshua was that he laughed on the words of the Chachamim. And it says whoever laughs on the words of the Chachamim, his punishment is that he burns in hot tzayah. The pasuk Rashi brings, the Darshan Vlag hardly Dias pasuk. The Gemara finishes off, the Gemara says, he says, look at the difference between Yoshka, which was considered a Pesheya Yisrael, a sin of the Jewish people, to Bilam, which was a Navi. He was a Navi of the Goyim, but nevertheless, the Yoshka, which is a Pesheya Yisrael, Seif Kol Sof, after he's in the next world, he told Unclus to look out for the welfare of the Yidden. But Bilam, after he reached the next world, the sin of the Yidden still remained intact. It says the Gemara, Tanya, now the Gemara finishes off, this was all started off in this Gemara, we gave the Sugi of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. The Gemara now finishes off the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. The Gemara says, Tanya, Amar Abelazar, Abelazar said, come and see how great is the power of embarrassment. The Eibishter helped Bar Kamsa to destroy the Beis HaMikdash, to burn the Beis HaMikdash, Bar Kamsa was doing something terrible. But the Eibishter, since Bar Kamsa was embarrassed, and no one stood up for him, so the Eibishter helped Bar Kamsa. Obviously, there was a gazeta that Yerushalayim should be destroyed. It was because of Sinas Chinam, so Bar Kamsa also expressed Sinas Chinam. But Pel Mamish, Bar Kamsa was obviously a lowlife. He was ready to destroy Yerushalayim because of the fact that he was hurt. But nevertheless, the Eibishter helped him, so we see how important it is not to embarrass someone. Now the Gemara says the second story of the Tarna